Today I'm going to explain to you how to swap out your coil spring for the 350Z right here. Coil spring is basically a piece that sits back here that connects all your steering wheel controls, your horn, which in this case if you see nothing works here. Even with the car on, it doesn't work. My cruise control doesn't work. Airbag, the airbag light bleeps. Just on, off, on, off, on, off. I haven't been able to figure out what code it's bleeping in, but that's what it's doing. And my horn doesn't work. So first thing I did was check to see if the fuses are okay, and they're all okay. Because the replacement part is about 200. It's about 100. Well, at the dealer, it's at least $250, and I got it new for about 135. But again, that depends on when you order it. I got mine from I believe Z Speed. So thumbs up for them for hooking me up with that. So yeah, first thing I did was I removed the battery. That's my hood's up. Well, actually, before you do that, you're gonna need to print out, just for your own help. Actually, you're gonna print out the SRS 20, 21, 22 pages, SRS 40, 41, 42, and 43. This basically will cover everything you need to remove the steering wheel, remove the clock spring, and put this bitch back together without blowing anything up. Now, you will need a couple special tools. Actually, the only special tool you're gonna need are these guys, which I just picked up. These are security Torx, which are just regular Torx with that hole in the middle. I picked this up at like an Advance Auto for about 30 bucks. So I normally do not use these, but it's, in my case, it's better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Because earlier this morning I was trying to do it, and I waited for the battery to remove all the voltage, and first bolt I needed to remove was one of these guys, Torx 30 to be exact. Which all that is explained in here. Always have them. Outside of that, you're gonna need some sockets. I don't know the size of the socket for the. Actually, it might have it here. They tell you to use a steering wheel removal tool, which I do not have. But there's actually, yeah, right here it tells you. Trying to get it to zoom in. That bolt right there. In order to remove the steering wheel, which is right there. But you can, if you have the tool, good for you. If you don't, then do it without it. So yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit more for this battery to wear out, and then I'll start the removal procedure. Before you even start anything, if you're having any issues with what I'm having today, first thing you want to do is remove your battery and check that A10 airbag fuse, just to make sure that the fuse is not blown and you're not spending all this money and doing all this crap for basically nothing. In my case, mine's perfectly fine. So the first thing you guys are going to do is, after you wait about 10 or 12 minutes with the battery hooked off, you're going to use the manual says a Torx 30. So you're going to get Torx 30 socket, and on both sides of the steering wheel behind here, there's going to be these little tabs. Oh, by the way, find yourself something to put these bolts in. You're going to remove these two little tabs, one on each side of the back of the steering wheel. Throw them somewhere where you're not going to lose them. You're going to remove that Torx, and I'm not going to show you now because you need to avoid this part at all times. So don't stick your face here, don't put your body here, don't put anything that might get damaged if this shit were to go off. Also, to prevent that, after you unhook the battery, you tap the brakes a couple times to remove any residual electricity from the car. That'll bleed it out. If you want to be super safe, I already did that. So you remove this Torx, you remove the one on the other side, and it's the exact same angle. And then afterwards, there are going to be two clips, which I'll show you once I remove them, but they're right here. They're 2 clips that you move with a little screwdriver. See, step 1, step 2. So if you've ever played with Legos, this is pretty much playing with big Legos. Okay, so I'm gonna remove them and then show you the little clips you have to remove. I got those 2 bolts off right there with, okay, there we go. I already lost one of the caps. So into note, just put it on here, chair or somewhere where it's not gonna be fucked with. Now be very, very careful, okay? Grab this carefully and nudge it out, turn it away from you, don't face it towards you. You're gonna see those 2 clips, and you're gonna remove those 2 clips with a little screwdriver. Since I don't have 3 hands, I'm not gonna be able to record that, so I'm just gonna show you that. Let me see if I can get it to zoom. Right there, you're gonna clip them up and pull them very carefully. Always aim this, you know, it's like a claymore. Aim towards enemy, okay? So there you go. Now that you have the airbag removed, you're gonna remove these guys. There's a little clip right there. You're gonna unwind them. You're gonna disconnect this little guy from here using a little screwdriver, flathead, and you're gonna remove this, which I assume is probably ground. So you would just remove them from the clips, and then you're gonna take a 19mm socket and loosen this nut. Now, here's the trick. Do not loosen this all the way out. Loosen it about, leave a couple turns left, and then you're gonna use that as like to help you stop when you pull the steering wheel this way. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And same thing but before, I don't have 3 hands, so I'm trying to explain it as best as I can. Alright, let's get this done. When you're trying to unlock this, the steering wheel is obviously going to want to turn. So what you do is that you lock the steering wheel in, that way it locks it. And then, using your keys, sorry about that, using your keys, let me see if I can, the easiest way to remove this bolt here, this nut, is to lock your steering wheel so it doesn't move. Use your 19mm, remove it, or at least loosen it. As you can see, mine's already loose. And using your key again, put it in the ignition, turn it, and then unlock the wheel, and then put it back into, you know, the normal position. So you can mark it there. And make sure your wheels and everything are straight. I don't know if you can see them, but my wheels are straight. And then you move on from here. You pull back and forth this way on many angles as you can with the nut on. That way it doesn't come and smack you in the face. So if you don't follow this, the steering wheel will hit you in the face. Okay, so just, you've been warned. There it goes. Now, it took a little bit of force, but I got it. You can see it's loose. Take this bolt off, and voila. Now, if you notice, see if I can zoom in so I can show you. There's 2 notches right there, one on the bolt and one on the steering wheel. Those 2 have to align. And regardless of what Nissan did here, I'm actually gonna go ahead and mark a 10 o'clock and a 2 o'clock position, just so I know that everything is fine. Okay. All right. I'm trying to see. There he goes. Hope you can see that. Okay. Anyway, right there you have the 12 o'clock, the 9 o'clock, and the 5 o'clock. I just did that to vary a little bit. So I know that when I put this steering wheel, the 9 has to match with the 9, the 12 with the 12, and the 5 with the 5 in order for this thing to fit in correctly. Okay. So now you're gonna carefully pull the steering wheel off to make sure that none of these cables get caught or snagged or anything. You're going to be left with your steering wheel, which in this case, if you want to replace anything or change anything, now would be the time. But yeah. Oh, and by the way, I forgot. This little cable that you connect here is actually the power steering, the cruise control switch, if you notice that. I don't know why I thought it was something else, but apparently that's what it is. I saw the coil going up there. So this is what it is. You can leave this. I'm gonna leave it out here for now. And this is the bastard that we're gonna replace. Okay. make sure this nut goes back there. Okay, and that's what keeps that piece aligned with that piece. Okay, or at least electronically speaking. Okay, so now we're gonna move on with with removing these components. I forgot to say, you need page DI-25. So it shows you these 4 buttons on the screws on the bottom, which I forgot, and gives you a little bit more information on the whole dash, because you do have to remove, like I removed the bottom compartment. You remove the 4 bolts here and on that little latch, and basically you just pull this thing out. Just be careful not to bend anything, just, you know, wiggle it out. And also another thing I forgot to mention is that your steering right here, there's a ring that sits right here. Before you can remove that panel or remove anything, you gotta, hold on, let me well, I don't know, there it goes. You need to push this guy out and it just pops out. Just save that later. The other page you also need is JQ23, which basically shows you the 4 bolts here, how to remove them. And this whole piece apparently just, sorry, it's really sunny, so it's having a hard time to focus on the dark aspects. And then this whole piece just kind of comes down. So right now I'm going to remove the bolts, and you just got to be careful with this part here, and then this whole unit should slide right down. Now that you have the bottom part removed, and you remove the back, well, not these guys, I'm sorry, these 3 connectors from basically back here. 1 goes here, and then 2 go right there. I don't know if you can see it, but that's where they go. You're gonna remove 4 bolts, 4 of them, okay? They're gonna be, let me see if I can show you. Right now I have them removed, but let me get a screwdriver so I can point it out for you. I'm gonna remove this guy right here, this bolt, the one in the back, right there, and then this mister, the guy right back here. Okay, they're these guys, 4 of them. Okay, and after you do that, just be careful with the wiring ignition here over here, that way you don't clinch it up or anything. After that, you're gonna grab this upper part and lift and kind of tilt back. You don't have to do it much, because all you have to do is, after you remove these 2 bolts, which don't come out, they just stay there, there's a tab back here which you pull out, and basically, and before you do that, there's a switch right here, there's a connector here that you disconnect. Move everything, including that little connector. You pull this piece out, and voila, there is your broken coil connector thing. So now all you have to do is transplant your switches to your new one. So here's my old one, which this thing doesn't matter anymore because we're nuking that. And here's my new one that I got. So basically, yeah, all you have to do is move these guys here, move this guy here, and then basically reverse order. So I'm gonna go ahead and see how to remove these guys, and then I'll get back to you. Is that on each connector? See if I can get this guy to zoom in a little bit. There it goes. On each connector, there's 1 tab on the bottom and 1 tab on top. So you push both of these together, and the entire piece comes right off. And same thing on this side. Pull, and here's the standard Nissan do not disassemble steering rack coil thing, whatever, I forget what it's called. So toss that aside, you can get the new one, flip it over, and basically same order, just be careful with the connectors. They go right there, click, you're gonna hear an audible click, and then this guy comes in, and same thing, align the connector and click, and there you go, there's your new one. Now the only other thing you have to do is, once you mount it, and this, you see this little locking mechanism here, this prevents this whole piece from moving. So when you're attaching your steering wheel and all that mess, this needs, well, before you attach, before you attach your steering wheel, this little clip has to be removed. This keeps everything aligned. That way you can just pop the steering wheel on and this thing will align perfectly. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start connecting this back. Something weird that I did not know. I don't know if this is a mistake from Nissan or from the person that sold this to me, but here's the original coil, right? Now there's this connector here which connects to Mr. White over here, this guy, that in the original, this is the part that used to be on here. The new one comes literally like this with no connector. I'm not on the manual. It doesn't say anything about replacing this part. It says this whole piece comes as a unit, with the exception of these two guys. But the part that I got from Nissan, because see, this is a genuine Nissan box. This is not, I didn't buy this used or anything. This is brand new. Apparently did not come with one. So I'm gonna try installing it, and I will be emailing. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to redo all this crap again to remove it. Or I'll just run it until the guy sends me a new one, because this is unacceptable, frankly. I'm not sure exactly what part there is, because in the manual, again, like I told you, this piece comes as a whole unit, including the back piece. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that does, but I'm gonna see if this works. So basically all I did was, I don't know if it'll happen to you, but I just disconnected, I unscrewed these 3 bolts right here and this one, and removed the piece, making sure that everything's aligned, and then these tabs right here align with the new tabs in the steering wheel. As you see, this one is one, that's another one. So I kind of kept the same alignment on this one, you know, keeping it like this, and then seeing where the tabs line up, and the tabs line up pretty much exactly where they're supposed to. Notice the tabs line up in, hold on, in this crevice and in this crevice, not that one. So it's this one and that one, okay? And that's where these right here, you get bam and bam. So let's see what happens. I mean, worst thing that can happen, I guess, is the airbag explodes for whatever reason. So yay, more money. Let's see what happens now. After you remount this with the 4 screws, you put the clip in, you attach all the bolts. In my case, I had to re-switch that. Apparently that's the horn connector, but the diagram shows it as one piece, so I gotta figure out still what that is. But that'll be for a later update, I guess. Put this piece in, and then there is, before you put the steering wheel and all that mess in, you got that ring over here, which goes in your key plate, like where your key goes, and you just clip this back on, and there's 4 bolts attached, and you're done, and you're ready to attach the steering wheel. Thing goes when you're attaching it again, you lock the steering wheel, make sure these cables are run through here without any issues or whatever. Connect this guy and Mr. Ground over here, and tuck them in there, that way they don't get in any way. Route these cables through that little clip, one at a time preferably. 1, 2, and you're set to install the airbag, and that's pretty much it. Let me lock my steering wheel column, that way this doesn't happen. But yeah, just be careful it aligns. The notches are in a place where if you align it 1 notch to the left or to the right, it won't be in the center. Like, the notches will not align, so it's not as sensitive as I thought it was. So yeah, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. So go ahead and get out of the driver's seat, put the column on, and insert both the I'm not going to show it because, you know, it's stupid, but put the 2 Torx screws on, and just get that out of the way. Tighten them to, I believe they're, let's see, again, everything in the manual. By the way, the screw here is 25 foot-pounds. I put it a little bit more just because I like a little bit extra security. The torque screws, let's see, they're right here. It's 82 inch-pounds, so don't go crazy, but at the same time, don't go overboard. Batteries installed. Power's on. I'm gonna put this here. Oh, let me turn that off. I don't know if you can see anything there, but if you can, I'm gonna turn this on and hopefully I don't get hit in the face. So far so good. Let's start the car. Horn works. Cruise control turns on and off. Airbag light is still going. So, at least that didn't blow up on me, right? So, let me get this back. Hopefully you guys saw that. I don't know if you did. Now we got to do basically the erase procedure, which I'm sure you guys are all aware of. Here we go. So, basically, to turn it off, you just follow this. So I'm gonna send a link to this entire manual in my description, so you guys don't have to worry about that. You guys can download each one or each PDF individually. They're all split up, and you can print this out and have it here with you. That way it's easier for you guys to do. So let me go ahead and do this procedure, and I'll get back to you with the dash. Hopefully if you see it now, let me turn it back on for you so you can see. Normally my e-brake's on, so normally you'll see that tick. That's basically what I'm getting. Now, according to the manual does give you a blinking diagram, so it tells you how many blinks, but as you can see, it's 1 every second, and 1 every second apparently does not exist. Yeah, the battery's off, so your car's going to do that for a little bit while it relearns. But my issue was that, like, my horn works now, awesome, and my cruise control works, so that's great too. Obviously I can't do anything, I can't set anything, but it turns on, which is great because that was my problem with the original. So let's see if I even have to contact this guy, but from now let me just do the relearn and get back to you. After you do the relearn procedure, which basically what you do is that you put, I'm not going to do it now, but you put the key into ignition, you turn it on, not the whole car, just yeah, just on, and the airbag light will blink, well actually will stay solid for 7 seconds. As soon as it turns off, you have 1 second to turn the key on off, just leave it off, and on off you count 4 Mississippis, put it back on, wait 7 seconds, wait until the light stops blinking. Again, immediately you have 1 second to turn it off, count 4 Mississippis again, on again, again same thing, you wait for the light to go off, 1 second after, like you have 1 second to turn the ignition off, wait 4 Mississippis again, and turn it on and leave it on. That's gonna basically remove it out of diagnostic mode, and the light will turn off and stay off. So in my case, I'm gonna turn my car on now. See my lights. See if I can focus. Obviously I have my e-brake, my seatbelt's off, and all that mess, but again, that's your final test. Horn works, and eventually, hopefully, unless this has any other issues that I'm unaware of, that airbag off light should stay off the entire time. If not, I'm gonna have to go to a dealer so they can actually run the their diagnostic procedure, which uses a computer instead of those fucking codes, because the codes really don't tell you much. It just tells you, you know, malfunction, and then you got to find out what malfunction it is, when usually those things will just tell you right off the bat, hey, you have this circuit is screwed, and you waste less time trying to find a problem. But if you want, you can also do it the manual way. So that's it. I hope this helped you guys out, and so yeah, there you go. Subscribe and like, and hopefully in the future I won't have to put any more videos on repairing the Z, but if I do, hopefully it helps you guys out. Damn, I need a new steering wheel. But yeah. Alright guys, like and subscribe please. Thanks.